Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. Today, my presentation is in English because there's many foreign friends here. And before I'm come here, I'm told that I have 10 minutes to introduce this regime to you. I think I'm trying best to give you an overview in 10 minutes. Okay, here, my introduction is, there's a background about this regime. The second one is legislative proposals. And then there's a licensing and transitional period. And the exception, prohibition and powers. And then the last part, discussions. Maybe we don't have much time here. Maybe we leave it in after off stage and or another occasions. So the first one is the background. VAOTC, there's in last year, there's fraud cases related to the alleged VATPs and some VAOTCs having raised a public concern about the risk of VA activities. So the government sees there as a need to bring a VAOTC service within the regulatory ambit. Before going on, we have aims other than regulatory of the regime. We have in mind to promote this industry in Hong Kong because this is very important to the future. So we as a government also have this understanding. So in deciding this regime, we will always take into account market's response, always listen to all of your views. We are open here. We are also, other than this occasion, in other occasions, we will discuss with you. If you are interested to contact us, just feel free to reach us. Because in other occasions, we are seeing the same things. I'm not saying here, after this presentation is the end of this presentation, the end of this matter. No, this is just the beginning. Sorry. So, right now, we have a date to reach because these consultations the consultation period will end on April 12th. But rest assured that if you have other opinions or some ideas that you have after discussing with your colleagues or discussing with your staff or your partners after this date, you can still give us response. But we do hope that if by this date you can give your feedback to us, that is fine. The legislative proposals is the government intended to counter-terrorist financing ordinance. That is what we call it in Hong Kong, CAP 615. In here, there's a new licensing regime for all VAOTC service providers. This regime will include VA activities, including physical outlet, ATM, and or other platforms that I will explain later. While VATPs will be explicitly excluded, that I will explain later. The proposal means that every operator of a VA service have to register with us and to meet with a list of licensing and regulatory requirements, as well as some MLCTF obligations. That is international standards. The regime is the definitions. Every operating VAOTC service in Hong Kong or actively marketing the provision of VAOTC service to the Hong Kong public needs to apply for a license from the Commissioner for Customs and Excise. And VAOTC business, the definitions is there's 3 points. The first point is by way of business, that the provision of service of spot trade of any VA. I highlight the spot trades because right now we are giving some ideas to invite all of you to give us a response. Spot trade has many definitions in the trade, in the industry. Right now we hear means instant transactions, but we are not going to limit it. We are open. We will listen to all your views to determine the final versions of what is a spot trade. The second one is whether the service is provided through a physical outlet or other platforms. That means mainly right now is digital platforms. The third one is, as I said before, there's a VATP because this is already covered by the ordinance, so there's no need to put the VATP into our control. It means any business activity of spot trading of VA will be captured under the new regime. It means peer-to-peer trading of VA between individuals, between friends or some individuals, if not in the business activity, will be excluded from the regime. What is this peer-to-peer activities? If it is not a business activities, it's excluded. For example, if in a P2P platform, if individual exchange between friends or something, exchange the VAs, that will be excluded. But for example, in some platform, even if the name is a P2P, but if we see that there's a coin exchange company using this name or having transactions of over 100 or thousands of transactions, that we don't regard it as a peer-to-peer, we regard it as a business activity. I have to make it clear here right now. If, for example, if other platforms, such as the application or instant message, Facebook or something like that, if it is not a party to the contract or binding transactions, that will not be considered as a VATC operator and will be excluded from the regime, such as in some exchange platform. If the platform providers, if they're offering all kind of exchange services for P2P or for other exchange of service, in the meantime, one or two transactions have one or two exchange have VA, involved VA, that will be excluded because this is not a business activity as we regard. To facilitate VAOTC, we think that in certain kind of a temporary custody of VA will be allowed. Other than that, custody of VA by the VAOTC operators will not be allowed. So there's, as I said before, there's questions that I would like to put it up here. If it is possible not to offer even temporary custody of VA, but we think the good point is it's better protection of the investor, right? But we also consider that there may be a technicality not feasible, or it will hinder the industrial development. That is always our point, so that we will consider if the temporary or how temporary custody will be allowed. On the other hand, if allowed the temporary custody, the good point is to facilitate the trade. But there may be some risks incurred. For risks incurred, the licensing requirement may be increased. For example, there may be a capital requirement. There may be a segregation of funds. There may be a security requirement that may be imposed to the operator that we need your feedback. For anyone who can apply for this license, we are welcoming locally incorporated company with a permanent place of business in Hong Kong or overseas company. If you are interested in investing in Hong Kong, that is fine. Then you can incorporate elsewhere but registered in Hong Kong under the company's ordinance. We will accept that kind of eligible applicants. Other than that, we need to have a certain kind of requirement for fit and proper requirement. That requirement is against, not against, it's a requirement, it's towards the directors and ultimate owners. Because the directors and ultimate owner, that means the company controller, have to meet with a certain kind of fit and proper requirement. That is, they don't have, we require them not to have any criminal records of money laundering or some kind of these activities. So it means if there is any change of a director, or you sell the company, the ultimate owner, before the selling or before the appointment of the new directors, we need to conduct the fit and proper test. That point I have to reiterate here, because once an applicant lodged an application and registered, if they change the directors or change the company, the shareholders, the major shareholders, we need to obtain our process before the appointment or the change hands. About the activities allowed, we were allowed the VA fiat exchange. We were allowed the transfer of VA from a licensee's registered wallet to a client's wallet. That point is the transfer of VA from a licensee to a client's wallet is allowed only if the proof of ownership or control that can be established. That is the investor protection. As for the type of VA that can be exchanged, right now the proposal, the original proposal is there's two kinds. The first kind is VA is to tally with the VATP. If the SFC licensed VATP for retail trading, that VA we can trade in VAOTC. The second point is stable coins. If the stable coins is issued by the HKMA, that upon the establishment of the stable coin licensing regime, that is right now is still under the development. Maybe next year they will establish the stable coin issuing in Hong Kong. What is activities not allowed is VA to VA exchange. That point that we receive some feedback that may have difficulties. But anyway, we just post it here because this is original our consultation. We need to listen to your views. So you are welcome. Your views are all welcome. Okay. The second point is the remittance of fiat or transfer of VA is not allowed unless on certain specified conditions. The third one is the VA advisory or referral service is not allowed. Offering VA derivatives of financial products such as staking, lending, and margin trading is not allowed because we are talking about spot trading. Direct or indirect custody of clients' assets is not allowed unless it is a temporary custody for transaction purpose. For remittance of fiat, the specified conditions is if the licensee will only be allowed to perform remittance of exchange if it applied for a MS money service operator license. If under these situations, they can be the remittance of VA can be allowed. Or else it is only allowed, the licensee only allowed to transfer the VA to the specified the registered wallet of the client. It is for investor protection, and also for it is a consideration of anti-money laundering, and CFT financing. For regulatory requirements, other than what I said, the eligibility, the fit and proper test, in the operation of the business, there has some requirement we need to do. The first one is the CDD, that is what we call the customer due diligence, or what you say is KYC. And also in the VA market, there's also the KYT, something like that. For transactions over a US dollar, 1,000 US dollars. And the second hand is the record keeping. You need to keep the operators need to keep the record for 5 years. And also there's other regulatory requirements. The requirements is the operator need to have a compliance and AML service of AML officer. That is a special officer responsible for AML CTF requirements. And the second one is the competence. That competence means the operator has a certain level of VA business trading, and also has certain level of knowledge about the AML CTF requirements. And the soundness of business and the conduct and the risk management, all of this, we will require the licensee in the applications to submit with us with a business plan explaining they have their business for us to judge if it's a sound and risk management and soundness. So the licensing period, we take the review. We don't think that we don't have a luxury to have a long time for transition. The transition period will be, if it is enacted, you have a 3 months application period. After 3 months, if you choose not to continue the business, you have 1 month to closing down. If you decided to continue the business, there will be a 3 months period for us to approve the license for you. At the end of the transition period, all OTC have to have a license to carry on VA business activities. That is option one. But in consideration of a very complex company structure, we have an option two. The option two is if not all the requirements were fulfilled, but some requirements, the major requirements you can fulfill, then we will give you a deemed period as a deemed VAOTC so that you can carry on the VA business. But these deemed activities, this deemed status may be canceled if finally the requirements cannot be fulfilled. But these options is cater for very complex, especially overseas company. So that we will consider the company structure maybe maybe very complicated, or there's a change or something, so that we have another option for you to consider. Again, this is open to the market. You can say if it is straightforward for option one, or more tailored for your business model. You can choose the option two. Finally, we can see if the market responds to decide if it is option one or option two. So there's a license period. The license period is 24 months. That means if once you obtain the license, you still have, after every 2 years, have to renew your license. The renewal, give us a time to review your business. So about the exemption. Right now, there's 4 types of corporations or entities as it is eligible for exemptions. The first one is just mentioned, the VATP, is because it's already regulated by SFC. The second one is a stable coin issuers that will be regulated by the HKMA. The third one is banks. This is banking, BO means banking ordinance. This is the authorized institutions already regulated by the banking ordinance. This is also exempted from our control. The fourth one is the licensed corporations if it is regulated already under certain special conditions under the Securities and Futures Ordinance. That also will be exempted from our new licensing regime. And again, you may also see if that is enough or too wild. That is also up to you to give us your opinions so that we can consider. So about the power, I have to give you an overview of general power of us. We can, if you apply the license, we have to allow us to enter your business, to carry out routine inspection. In case some frauds found or some irregularities found, we can investigate and take out the evidence and then carry out arrest, search, or else, if it is not a criminal, we may impose disciplinary actions or sanctions. And also, we have the power to modify or impose existing conditions and obtain information from other relevant authorities. And there's an additional power I need to write it here. It is proposed that we have a power to prevent access to websites or digital platforms in or outside Hong Kong if the VA operators is unlicensed or having fraudulent activities. That kind of power for us is to protect the general public, investors, from malpractices. Again, you can give your opinion whether it is too hard or too strict, okay? So for other sanctions and statutory appeal, because there's a straightforward one, and also we have 10 minutes, and also you're boring some of you. So you may refer to the consultation paper. I will not elaborate here because half of you is still sleeping right now. Okay. Again, any views and comments you can give to the FSTB, to the Financial Service and Treasury Bureau, and before April 12th. And also you can give the opinions if you have an interim period, interim review or interim comments. You can also give to FSTB, and then we can further discuss this. Okay. Here's the end of my discussion, end of my presentations. For discussions, maybe we leave it to the offstage or other occasions. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.